Now, a lot of women over 40 want the weight to move. They want more energy. They want better focus. They want to feel lighter, stronger, and more in control of their body again. But here's the hard truth. You cannot keep eating whatever you want, sleeping whenever you want, moving only when you feel like it, and expect your body to respond differently. At some point, you must be honest with yourself. When you keep avoiding what needs your attention now, life does not get easier later. The fatigue increases, the cravings get stronger, and your weight becomes more stubborn. So in today's video, I want to share 3 hard truths women over 40 need to face if they want to stop going in circles with their weight and start building the energy, clarity, and strength they need for the life God has called them to live. So the first thing you may need to work on now is learning how to start before you have everything figured out. Because for many women, the issue is not that you do not know what to do. You know you need to sleep more. You know you need to move more. You also know you need to eat in a way that supports your body. You know you need to manage your stress better. But the struggle is figuring out how all of that fits into your already busy life. So you start asking yourself, when am I going to find time to meal prep? How am I supposed to exercise when I'm already tired after work? How can I go to bed earlier when I still have things to prepare for tomorrow? How am I supposed to increase my steps when I barely have time to finish my deadlines? And because you cannot see how everything will fit, you keep putting it off. You keep trying to figure out the entire plan up front. Honestly, that's how many of us were trained in school. We were taught to prepare, plan, follow instruction, meet deadlines, and avoid mistakes. And there's nothing wrong with planning. Planning obviously has its place. But when it comes to improving your health, trying to figure out everything up front doesn't always work. Sometimes it actually keeps you stuck. Because while you are trying to figure out the perfect routine, the perfect schedule, the perfect meal plan, the perfect workout time, and how everything is going to fit into your already busy life, your body is still tired, your energy is low, sleep is still off, your cravings are still there, your weight is still not moving, and another month passes with no real change. This is the danger of overthinking. It doesn't just delay you, it drains you. And when your mind is tired, even simple steps can feel difficult. But sometimes clarity does not come before you move. Sometimes clarity comes because you move. You start with one simple habit. You pay attention to what happens. You notice how your body responds. Then you adjust. This is how you build progress. You may not have a perfect health plan right now, but you can start somewhere. You can start drinking more water. You can start going to bed at least 30 minutes earlier. You can start walking after meals. You can start adding more protein and vegetables to your plate. You can also start paying attention to the food that leaves you bloated, foggy, tired, or craving more. And once you start, you begin to learn. You learn what gives you energy, what drains you, what works with your schedule. You also learn what your body responds to. You learn where you may need more support. But you cannot learn all of that by sitting and thinking about it. At some point, you have to take action. And this is something entrepreneurship really taught me. Now, I used to think I had to have everything figured out before I started. But being an entrepreneur challenged that because business does not always work that way. Sometimes you make a decision, you take action, you test it, and then make adjustments. Now, someone asked me the other day how I could switch direction so quickly, and it made me realize how much I have grown over the years. I used to spend a lot of time planning, only to realize by the time I started, the plan was not even practical. And honestly, that same mindset can help you with your health. Because the woman who starts imperfectly and adjusts as she goes will always make more progress than a woman who spends 6 months trying to figure out the perfect plan. So do not let overthinking become the thing that keeps you tired, stuck, and going in circles. I want to challenge you to start small and then build from there. Now, the second thing you may need to work on now is learning how to receive the truth without becoming defensive. And this might be a hard one for a lot of us because a lot of us say we want to change. We want more energy. We want the weight to move. We want to feel better in our body again. But the moment someone exposes the habits that may be working against us, we start protecting ourselves. We say things like, I'm just busy. Well, I'm in a stressful season. I'm over 40 now. My hormones are changing. I don't have the time like other people. No, your schedule may be full. Your hormones may be actually shifting. Stress may be affecting you. And you may also have a lot of responsibilities. But sometimes those things are also hiding the deeper issue. Because even with all of that going on, there may still be habits you need to look at honestly. Maybe you are saying yes too often. Maybe you are using food to cope with stress. Maybe you are spending too much time scrolling. Maybe you are spending too much time with people who drain you, distract you, and keep pulling you back into habits you are trying to change. And that is not easy to admit. But here is the hard truth. Being defensive can actually keep you stuck. Because when you are defensive, you are not open to learning. You cannot see clearly, and every piece of feedback feels like an attack instead of information. So, the first feedback you need to pay attention to is that from your own body. Low energy, that's feedback. Cravings are also feedback. Bloating, brain fog, and feeling sluggish after meals are also feedback. Your clothes feeling tighter is feedback. Your mood being all over the place is also feedback because your body is always speaking, but we are often too busy to listen. So, if your first response is to defend your habit instead of examining them, you may miss the very information that can help you heal. This is why your ability to grow is directly connected to how much truth you can handle about yourself without trying to escape it. And I'm not talking about beating yourself up. I'm talking about being honest with yourself. Have I been staying up too late? Have I been using food to cope with stress instead of dealing with what is really bothering me? Have I been trying to please everyone and neglecting my health in the process? Have I been ignoring the signals my body is sending? Because that kind of honesty is what is needed. Because the moment you start trying to protect the old version of yourself, you make room for your growth. You no longer see feedback as an attack. You no longer see your mistakes as proof that you failed. You no longer treat your husband correction like rejection. You no longer ignore the signals your body keeps sending you because the goal is not to prove that you were right. And I know we feel good when we are right, but the goal is really to get free, to regain your energy, to think clearly, to feel stronger, to show up with the capacity your purpose requires. So before you get defensive, I want to challenge you to pause and ask yourself, is this truth and could it help me grow? Because sometimes the truth you want to reject is the very truth God may use to help you grow. Now let's look at the third truth you may need to work on now. Learning how to stop being controlled by your appetite. And I want to say this carefully because food is really not the enemy, you know. Food is actually a gift from God. Food nourishes us, strengthens us. Food brings family together. Food has been part of our celebration, culture, and community for centuries. So this is not about demonizing food or acting like enjoying food is wrong. But we do have to be honest enough to ask, has food remained a gift or has it become something that controls me? Because for many women, food is not just food anymore. It has become an escape. It has become a reward. It has become the thing we run to when we feel overwhelmed, lonely, tired, frustrated, disappointed, or emotionally drained. And this is where the hard truth comes in. You can love God, pray, worship, serve, and still have areas where your appetite is leading you more than wisdom is leading you. And this is not condemnation. This is an invitation for you to pay attention. Because freedom in Christ is not just about what we say we believe, it also shows up in what has power over us. And Paul says in 1 Corinthians 6:12, all things are lawful for us, but I will not be mastered by anything. So just because I'm allowed to eat it does not mean I should be mastered by it. Just because the food is available does not mean it should lead my decisions. Just because I am stressed does not mean craving should get the final say. Now, this is a powerful question I want you to ask yourself. Am I enjoying this or is this mastering me? Because there is a difference. There's a difference between enjoying dessert and needing something sweet every time you feel stressed. There's a difference between celebrating with food and overeating. There's a difference between having a treat and feeling like you cannot stop once you start. There's also a difference between eating because your body needs nourishment and eating because you cannot control your appetite. And I know we like to say, Christ has set me free. But the truth is, we often are trapped by sugar, trapped by emotional eating, trapped by late night snacking, trapped by the cycle of doing well for a few days, then falling right back into the same patterns. And again, this is not about shaming you. But if you're a purpose driven woman, this matters because you're not just trying to lose a few extra pounds, your body is part of how you live out your assignment. You need energy to serve. You need clarity to make good decisions. You need focus to build what God placed in your heart. You need strength to show up for your family, your work, your ministry, and your calling. So when food keeps leaving you tired, bloated, foggy, inflamed, and craving more, that is not something to ignore. You want to pay attention to this because food can fill your stomach without truly nourishing your body. Food can distract you for a moment, but it cannot heal what is happening in your heart. Food can give you temporary comfort, but it cannot give you lasting freedom. And sometimes the prayer should not just be, Lord, help me with my weight. Sometimes it should sound more like, Lord, help me stop using food to address what only you can heal. Help me make choices that honor the body you gave me. Help me walk in wisdom and not shame. Because Christ did not set you free so that food could become your master. He set you free so you can exercise self control, walk in wisdom, and steward your body well. So if you know food has had more control than it should, this is an invitation to come back into alignment, an invitation to stop partnering with habits that keep draining your energy, to bring your appetite under God's control, to walk in the freedom Christ already made available to you. Because freedom does not mean you never enjoy food. Freedom means food no longer controls you. So if you're a woman over 40 and feel like you keep going in circles with your weight, I want you to ask yourself, which hard truth have I been avoiding? Have I been waiting to have everything figured out before I start? Have I been getting defensive instead of listening to what my body is trying to show me? Have I allowed food to control me more than I want to admit? Because the goal here is not to shame yourself into change. The goal is to tell yourself the truth so you can finally move forward. So this week, I don't want you to try to fix everything at one time. Choose one hard truth to face, one habit to adjust, one signal to pay attention to, one area to bring back under God's control. Are you tired of feeling tired? Well, I'm looking for a few purpose driven women over 40 ready to become proof of what is possible with more energy, clarity, and focus in the next 60 days. So click the link below to join our upcoming challenge. See you there.